Hello and welcome back for part 2 of Tips and Tricks, where we're going to go over a couple more shortcuts more or less, a couple of patch notes, and then we're going to show off some cool builds that have showed up in the game. Let's get started. Alright, let's start with the first tricks, which is flipping things. So one of the things you can do is flip the direction that, say, motors or servos are in. So if I look at this one here, I hit F, it actually flips it to spin the other way. Same thing works on servos. So right now it's going, from -1 to 1. If I hit F, leaves everything in place, but then now it's going the opposite direction. So I think I've wired this up. So if I hit spacebar, oh no, I haven't wired it up. Wait, let me just wire up that servo real quick. So I have spacebar set to move to 1. And if I flip it now and spawn in again, now 1 will go the other way. So that's one trick for just kind of making life a bit easier when you want to flip things without having to rebuild it. Another thing is if you're trying to build off this mirror plane. So say I want to make something like a perfect wheel in the middle. Say I want to throw on some wheels here, and then I just want like a wheel in the middle over here to make like a tricycle. If I do something off axis, it will mirror it, but if I use this attachment point and I put it on the center, because the child plates currently don't have mirroring on them, you can actually just use this to make a single point. So center that. So now if I put a, let's see, bring this down, throw on a small drive motor. So now it's no longer mirrored. Should extrude that instead. There we go. Let's put a small wheel here. Now the one thing I do have to be careful though is because this is, not a direct child, it'll actually start to collide if I put things too close. Yeah, that's how you can make things off of a center axis without breaking that mirroring. Because like I mentioned in the first tips and tricks video, there's a bit of a dev hotkey. You can actually one time turn off mirroring. So if I just save this real quick. So like I mentioned in the last video, there's a one-way trip. You can hit Control-Shift-M and that turns off mirroring. But it is a one-way destructive change, so it's not something you want to do lightly. If I undo, I have mirroring back. There we go. Another tip, if I just wire up this steering wheel quick, wire up this steering wheel quick. I have no shame. It shows. Okay, let's hook up the steering. Alright, this wasn't meant to be the most stable of builds. But it's one thing you can do is the camera's always trying to stay behind, but if you hit Control-Shift-C, now you can actually, it'll stay wherever you leave it. You currently have to do it every time you jump into a bot though, so if I go back into build and spawn again, it sets the camera back to default, so you have to hit the button again. This is a preview of the kind of coloring system and what you can do with it currently. So if I just build this out a little bit. So when you go into the catalog, there's actually a little side panel over here that says colors. But going into it, you can actually hit edit colors. You can choose a color palette you want to go with. So if I choose, say, let's see here. Let's take this one here. Now I can actually go in and set these and choose different colors I want. So primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. And if I spawn this, it should have the colors. So this will actually color all the components. You'll see the wheel, the chair, and everything has kind of updated. And to change what happens now, so let's say I want to grab these frame parts here, or these, these frames, and then it chooses different combinations of what to set. So I can actually grab different panels and then override what each one is colored as. So it's like a theme, and now if I change the theme, and see, it created a custom one here, but if I now change the theme, it'll follow with the same kind of highlighting I set. So this one has red, black, and white. So you see the one I changed over here, when it stays white, this one goes black. Same here. So that's kind of how these color palettes work. It's a very early iteration, but gives you some control over what you're doing. Yep, and that's painting. The TBM 930. This is done by one of our artists in-house, and it's just insane, I guess, is one way to put it. The details on this thing are incredible. It actually has the more proper flight controls, some might say. So you can actually set the... actually, you know what? I'm just going to hop in and try to remember all these controls. So it has adjustments, tail, steering, all the good stuff. But then it actually has elevators that you can set to a fixed position on top of your controls and even on the wings. So this is kind of... It's also using propellers, thrusters. Oops. Oh, I'm breaking stuff. Right, perfect runway. It's a lake. Alright, so it takes off. It's a very smooth flying experience. It can retract all of its landing gear, which is a nice feature. And then if I set those elevators, I should be able to make the plane level off quite nicely. Right, so this next build, also done by the same artist. Another crazy one. The level of detail is just amazing. So this is that crane truck that was actually shown on Twitter from us. It has a lot of moving parts. But the level of detail, it even has, like, you know, spare tires underneath. Not that you can see them. But the features include the full back crane moving up and down. It retracts, expands. It has feet to lift it, to stabilize it. It's just really nicely detailed everywhere. It's using bumpers as a nice little visual touch extra as well. So if I just spawn this in, our new printing effect. So yeah, so it can drive around fully. And if I remember the controls for this one as well, hit this one to bring out the legs. That one stabilizes it. And then I can start to move every single piece of the crane. So yeah, I think this is one of the more detailed ones I've seen made in the game so far. So even these side panels here are actually made with just alternating between carbon fiber and plastic and just setting the colors. Really cool build. I really like this one. Next up, this one is actually Khan made a video where he made a very compact sports car, and yeah, this thing is just so cute, but also so well thought out. It's got side skirts, front skirts, it's got like the reinforcements. And there's just enough room inside for one little drone to sit in there. And yeah, it's just really nicely put together. It has a nice brake light effect here. It also has reverse lights. Or it did have reverse lights, but I think I broke them. And then there's thrusters inside that use like these little vents. So it's just like it's a really nice position for them, so visually it's very pleasing, and yeah, it handles really well at speed too. So yeah, it's a cute little sports car made by Khan. Be sure to check it out. I think he completed the gauntlet with this one as well. Very nice build. Alright, so this was a little complicated for me, but I'll try and do it some justice. So in these controllers is a lot of code. And in this code, if I check this one here, let's see if it's, yeah, just more, oh, this is just for the lights. What it does is it uses the gyroscope, and then it tries to figure out how to keep itself level. So let's see. So it's going to try and stabilize itself automatically. And it's just crazy cool how this thing feels and works. So up and down. It has thrusters if you want a little bit of a boost. And yeah, this is like a self-stabilizing hovercraft. So if I just follow, it's trying to follow the ground. Yeah, it's a cute little spacecraft. It's just, this is what the power of the controllers and like the sensors checking the distance to the ground and everything kind of just adjusting with the help of a gyroscope. So let's see if I could stop moving here and just going down a bit. And yeah, it's super stable at hovering. I believe this one also was, so this was one of our coders in-house. They put it together, and it was an inspiration also from the Discord. So be sure to check out the Discord, join the conversations, because when we get inspired, we often will try and do these things as well, just to see if we can. Or then I'll live stream it and fail miserably, that then inspires others to make better stuff. Next up is a dragon made by Durf. I didn't even know that something this detailed could be made. It just looks amazing. Best part, it breathes fire. Let's kind of give an idea of like what kind of details you can throw into a build once you start to get familiar with it. Overall, it's just super adorable. I do believe he also made a box, that a useless box, a useless machine, slightly better than I did. So props for that. I'll have to do a follow-up where I make an even better one. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that. But yeah, so there's a little thruster in there. Got little claws. Yeah, overall, very cute build. And even the wings, like the detail where one side is in yellow and the other side is in carbon fiber, is really nice. And oh, I see what you did there. You put some weights in there. So a lot of people are using hammers as counterweights. A lot of builds use that. Yeah, so that's some builds. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave a comment, suggestions on what we should do next in these videos. Always looking for new ideas. And make sure to wishlist us on Steam. And have a good week.